Hello friends! Today we're going to talk about the fabric requirements for the Good News project, and I have been really excited to share this with you. Now below in the description you will find a link to a PDF that you can print out, and it'll have the colors and everything that you need to, and of course the measurements to take with you, whether it's to your stash or to the stores or a combination of both. It'll have everything that you need there. Now, a few things that I want to talk to you about, and it is discussed in the printout. I'm going to show you the printout right here. For starters, the inspiration for the color choices. Imagine some buildings in Jerusalem with the sand color, the sandstone walls, stained glass windows with the beautiful jewel tones, and the dark leading. That is your inspiration for your choices. And if you look here, I have the colors and the amounts and also what I'm calling each of these selections. So let's get into the choices that I made. And I want you to have some grace when you're making the choices. I clearly had a very specific idea of what I wanted in the fabric when I went to the store. And then what they had to work with was not exactly what I had in mind. So just be prepared for that. And you'll understand more as I go. But just allow time and grace. You've got a full month before we start on the actual clues for the mystery, the actual cutting and piecing. So you've got plenty of time. And you know what? Even if it takes you a little bit longer than that, that's okay too, because this mystery is not going to go anywhere. I don't want it to be a stressor in your life. I want it to be a gift. So just take your time. Don't stress out about it. Okay, so let's go to the first part of the list. And you don't really need to see the actual list anymore because I'm going to put the fabrics right here. So the first one is the sand color for the idea of the building. And I found this fabric right here that I just absolutely loved. It was exactly what I had in mind. But if you find something else that's a batik or a completely different print or a slightly different shade, do what makes you happy. So these are just guidelines, and I'm just showing you what I was able to find based on my own inspiration. So just go with that. Okay, next is the leading for the stained glass windows. And this is what I found for that. And I don't know how well you can see it on screen, but it's actually a dark gray and black mottled tone. I could have gone with a solid black if I wanted, but I wanted something with a little bit of gray in there. But I did want it to be subtle, as here's a hint, these pieces are going to be pretty small. So if I had something that was like super light gray and then a super dark black, it would really show up. And I wanted something a lot more subtle. Now, these two fabrics are going to help determine the color choices, because you're going to want to make sure that your colors can be seen by both of these. One fabric, I struggled a little bit with this, but I still think it's going to be okay. But just kind of keep that in mind. You want to be able to choose your colors, and you can still see them against these two. Now, the first set of colors are the greens. And for each set of colors that you have, there are 4, and it goes from dark to light. And you're going to cut, and then there's 2 mediums, and you want them to be close but still distinctive. So these are the greens that I found, and you'll see it's pretty similar to that black, but I still think it's going to be okay. The other ones I don't really have that issue with. Now, greens can be difficult. Some are yellowy, some are blue, some are olive, some have a brown tint. It can be difficult. So I started with this one first. And it took me a while to find 4 greens that went from light to dark that I felt comfortable with. And only one of them is a batik. The rest are Moda Grunge, I believe. So, but again, you find what works best for you. And don't be afraid to mix regular cottons with the batiks. I do it all the time. It works out beautifully. Don't let that bother you. The second set of colors are the blues. And this is what I went with. I've got my dark, my medium dark, my medium light, and my light. And this also took a while. Because again, blues are not just blue. You've got your purpley blues and your yellowy blues. I know that you know what I'm talking about. So, and obviously you can see each of these colors against my sand and against the dark. Next set, and this one might seem a little bit more complicated. It's not, it just might seem that way. It's pinks and purples, because we're going from pink to purple. So I've got my dark purple and my light pink, my darker pink, and my medium purple. And 2 batiks, 2 non-batiks, and it took me a while to find the colors I wanted for this as well. The green was by far the hardest. And the last one was the easiest. And that is my yellow, orange, red set. And here you go with that. So your red might not be as dark, and you might and thus you might end up with a much lighter yellow. It just depends on what your stores have and what you like and feel comfortable with. But whatever it is, you are going to be able to choose something that you really like and that makes you happy and that you can use with your sand color and with your leading. This is the collection of fabrics. Now, regarding the amounts, this is, I don't even know, I'm sighing because I'm not exactly sure how to explain it well, so just bear with me. When I come up with the amounts of fabric, I try to look at the amount and do a little bit extra in case a mistake is made, whether it's a mistake that we make in cutting or whether the store makes in the cutting. I mean, I'm sure we've all had those pieces that are really wonky and you're like, I can't even use all of that. So I try to account for things like that. When I was coming up with the measurements for this, more often than not, the amount that was needed was right up to that amount, whether it was a definite half yard or definite 3/4 of a yard or whatever. And there really wasn't any room there for error. So I had to go up another 1/4 yard. Now, that, I don't want people to feel like I'm being wasteful in saying how much I think that you're going to need. I want to allow for errors because it is going to take quite a while to make this project and I want it to go slowly. And if you make a mistake and then you try to go back to the store, the odds are the store's not going to have that fabric anymore. And then that would create even more stress. So if you have quite a bit extra of the fabrics, there are a few things that you can do with it so that they're not going to waste. You can piece the remaining bits for a backing for the project because I did not allow for any backing. That I didn't do. This is just the top and the binding. So you can piece them together to use for part of the backing. You can use it to make additional blocks or additional pieces for pillows that can go along with the quilt if you want, or if you're going to have it on your couch, maybe you can make a small table topper for your coffee table or whatever. Just use it if, you know, to go with the project, or use it to make a scrap quilt or a Linus project quilt, or Project Linus rather. I would rather you have too much than not enough. So I hope that that'll be okay with you. So that's how the measurements are decided on. I want it to be safe more so than sorry. Okay, now again below you've got the list, and oh, I can't wait to see what fabrics you find. So please, 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 please send me links, send me pictures, whatever. My email address is down there. My Facebook page for Divine Inspirations is also listed in the description. Feel free to post your fabric choices there. I can't wait to see what you're able to find in your stash and at your stores and what you come up with. I am really excited. So please, please, please share them with me and with everybody else. I know that it'll be very inspirational to all who are participating. Okay, that is it for now, and I will see you on Labor Day for clue number 1. And until then, I hope you're cozy in your jammies.